Hey everybody, this is TJR.
And this is Superfan.
And so tonight, we finally got around to watching the new Superman series on the CW called Superman and Lois. And
yes,
I have to admit, I was not expecting much from this show. Now, of course, I've been a big comic book fan since I was a kid. Superman was the first comic book I ever bought. You, of course, did not grow up being a comic book fan. Did you have any expectations prior to seeing the show?
No, not really.
My expectations were not all that high, and part of that is because it is a CW show, and I should mention that I don't think that the CW shows are bad shows. They're entertaining. I have seen some of their other superhero shows like Supergirl, The Flash. You know, they're entertaining
Smallville,
shows.
yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah, we even saw the Smallville back when it first aired, way back then. You know, they're entertaining shows, but there's just a certain CW-ness to them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they all the pretty teenagers.
They fall into a certain category and formula, but I have to admit, this show really impressed me with its pilot.
Yeah, it was really good. It was very cinematic.
I think it's the most cinematic CW show I've ever seen.
I would agree with that.
The special effects were above par, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that was something that needed to happen with the CW shows, I think, was that they had to raise the bar there.
Because
I think it held them back.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think that what you're saying is that with all you've got the Marvel Universe shows on Disney Plus,
yeah,
shows like The Mandalorian, where they're based on huge franchises and you've got these cinematic production values.
Yeah, and the budget to go along with it.
Yeah, and you know, CW being a network that does a lot of shows, you know. Disney Plus, you know, they don't have to like have 10 or 11 TV shows on at the same time.
Yeah.
The way the CW does, because the CW comes from the old school model of television.
But they do have big money behind them.
Oh yeah.
But you have to give to get.
Exactly, and they've got to they're used to making a lot more shows. So when you've got a big franchise like Superman, this big of a franchise character, it's wise to put more money into it so that you can compete.
Yeah.
In that respect.
Yeah, they're competing with Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah, basically. One Disney Plus. Mandalorian and then the Marvel TV shows. And all the other Star Wars shows that are going to be coming out soon.
The Star Wars show right now is becoming Star Wars shows.
Yeah.
In short order. And they needed to get established. I think what they're trying to do is get established and get people invested before that landslide of shows comes.
Starts to hit, yeah. I see what you're saying. I have a feeling that like networks like CW might start making less shows, but higher production into the shows they make, if they're smart about it.
Yeah,
That's
I can
what they'll
see
do.
that. Yeah.
But getting back to this pilot episode, we knew, of course, that, you know, Lois and Clark are married in this series, which I think is great, you know, that they're married. We don't deal with any of the old school stuff with them, like first meeting each other or, you know, her not knowing he's Superman, all that stuff. It's just they're married. They have 2 kids. And, of course...
Twins.
Yeah, twins, yeah. And my thought was that this would be about the twins, mostly. You know, because it's a CW show and we want teen drama, you know.
And I think we'll get that.
We'll get it, but this pilot really balanced the drama of...
It's a family drama.
Yeah, it is more. It balanced the adults with the teenagers, the superhero with the real life stuff, and that's why it felt so cinematic.
It felt cinematic, but it also felt grounded.
It felt very grounded, yes. And it makes me think a certain amount of what Zack Snyder tried to do with Man of Steel, but didn't always succeed at. trying to create a more grounded Superman.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, and I know I'm going to piss off all the Zack Snyder fans, and I don't really care. And you can like Zack Snyder stuff. I have no issues with that. I don't completely hate Man of Steel. I think it has real potential. I think it showed real potential for a possible cinematic franchise that never got realized. But I think that Zack Snyder was always embarrassed by Superman. That was kind of my opinion of his take on the character, is that the character embarrassed him. He wasn't badass and cool enough. So he tried to make him badass and cool, and it just didn't work. There's a certain amount of 13-year-old mentality of, ooh, look how cool, how violent it is. You know, that makes it cool. That makes it adult because it's violent. And because we use the F word. Which is not to say that he doesn't have sometimes good visual instincts. He does. And not everything, and I don't think everything he does is bad. But I think there is that limitation in how he does these things. But this show grounds Clark Kent and Lois Lane, grounds the world of Metropolis, grounds the world of Smallville, yet also manages to have Superman and the superheroics.
Yeah.
And is even subplotting a supervillain.
It's not a perfect world. The kids have issues.
It's not a perfect life.
There are parental issues.
Yeah. Clark and Lois aren't perfect either.
Yeah, and I've never seen that in a CW show.
Yeah, they're doing the best they can, and it has them just dealing with real world issues like mortgages, deaths in the family,
burgeoning superpowers,
which we all deal with, of course, at one point in our lives or another, and they really make that feel real. The idea that they're concerned that powers might manifest in their kids is really handled in a very realistic way that you completely believe it.
Yeah.
I was just really impressed at how well this show dealt with all that.
And the actors were really good.
Yeah. And this is the same, this, of course, version of Superman was introduced in the Supergirl show. And I remember after a lot of the disappointment that people expressed with this, and I don't want to say Henry Cavill's Superman. I think Henry Cavill was great, and I wished he could continue to be Superman. But just how Snyder's take on the character was that everybody said, it's funny how CW in like 2 Supergirl episodes gets Superman so much better, gets it right. I know once again the Snyder fans are going to be pissed off by me saying that, whereas the Snyder films couldn't. You know, I noticed even his costume that he wears for the majority of the show is modeled after the Zack Snyder Superman costume. But with that said, I have to give a shout out to the quick little tribute they gave at the beginning to the old school Superman costume and the old school Golden Age S symbol emblem that he wears during the opening of the show. He doesn't wear it again, of course. This is just his first version of the costume, but I have to give a shout out. I really like seeing the old school Superman outfit.
Yeah, it looked like the S came off of like a cheerleader sweater.
Oh, okay. Like a Smallville?
Yeah.
Because he said his mother made it for him.
Yeah.
Probably after that, he had to like make a more durable costume as time wore on.
But it had the feel of like a Letterman or cheerleader.
Okay, Smallville. Yeah, I get it. And yet with this show now, in the Supergirl show, they had Superman being kind of the idealistic version that we all like, that's kind of reminiscent of Christopher Reeve in many respects, but not Christopher Reeve. But we have that version of the man who's trying to be the very best, who's always trying to be the best that humanity can offer. And that's always what I thought Superman should be. He is always going to try to be the best that humanity can offer, but that doesn't mean he's not going to have conflicts.
Well, yeah, it's that small town upbringing.
Yeah. That is at his core.
Yeah.
It's at the core of the character. And yet this show manages to present that life is complex, human emotions are complex, Clark Kent is complex, Superman is complex, and he still manages to try.
His family is complex.
The family is complex, yet he's trying to still stay true to his core values. And that was all in the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really darn good pilot. Now, of course, don't know how. The question now is, can they maintain this for the rest of the season? I didn't stop to see how many episodes there were going to be, but I really hope that CW with this show, and just like they do with like the Marvel shows now and with the Star Wars shows, that they don't feel they have to give us 20-some episodes. Shorter seasons, but hopefully better quality on writing. Also, that opening 10-15 minutes that gives all the backstory, leading up to, the kids being teenagers. I was impressed at how well that because basically it's a big expository dump, if I want to be just blunt about it. But it was really well done, and it carried emotional weight. The combination of narration, music, and images worked extremely well.
Yes, it did. I thought it was, really well done. Everybody kind of has a feel for the backstory, but even if you don't, you get enough of it to be able to pick up.
Yeah, it felt to me almost like you could take that opening 10 and 15 minutes and basically, this is what the whole show is going to be about. If this had been a movie, this would have made a perfect trailer, in my opinion.
And I did just look it up. They did use that opening scene as the trailer. And this episode was a bit longer at 64 minutes than I think the regular episodes are going to be.
Oh, okay. All right. So, in other words, that opening was just like you put on like what, YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, as a trailer for the series.
It was used as a promo for it.
It's a perfect promo. Wow. Okay. So, interesting. Let me ask you a question. So, I kind of figured it was going to be the angsty of the two brothers that would have the superpowers.
Of course.
Yeah.
That had to be.
Yeah, that was obvious, I think. They wanted you to think it was the more straight kid.
Well-adjusted.
The well-adjusted one, yes.
Or not necessarily well-adjusted, I guess. Just
more sociable. Didn't have the social problems.
The social anxiety disorder.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, that...
That's CW for you.
Yeah.
And before the big reveal of the main villain at the end, did you think it was who it was?
I suspected, but I wasn't sure.
I suspected because of the power suit. Because Lex Luthor, for a period of time there, and I think since then there have been periods where he's had the power suit. The power suit came along in like the late 70s, early 80s, and then it was abandoned for a while, and then it came back. But just the power suit got me thinking it's either Lex Luthor or Tony Stark. And it can't be Tony Stark, so it had to be Lex Luthor. Yeah.
Well, Lex Luthor is the Tony Stark of the DC universe. It's just that he's evil.
That's right. He is. Someday, if we can ever have an intercompany crossover, yeah, we got to have Lex Luthor versus Tony Stark. That'd be cool.
That would be.
Yeah. Initially, I was just thinking, okay, maybe I'll go check this out. And I kind of didn't even rush to it, really. But now, I am very excited to see the upcoming episodes. Are you?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. And I just looked it up. There are 15 episodes.
Okay, so they are going for a shorter season span. And that's good. I really think that's good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. And let us know if you've watched this, what you think, or has this video made you curious enough to watch it? Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay tuned for more videos. As always, click like, click subscribe, and share these videos on your social media. We'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.